Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of my Airline Tycoon series with Pheonix Travel. In today's episode, we're going to start off our brand new route, which we picked up at the end of the last episode, which is our Sydney to Singapore. Now, this is going to be a very profitable route, and I'm very excited to start flying it. We've got a really large kitted out plane, which is going to be amazing to fly, and I can't wait to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm very quickly just going to go ahead and fill in the schedule. I did say I'd do this in between episodes, but we're starting to get gate issues again, which is kind of frustrating. However, for the time being, I will just ignore it. Our plane is kitted out to the max, so that means we should be able to get lots of first class passengers on this route straight away, and we can carry just about, well, those two numbers added together is 480. So 480 passengers in one flight, that's going to make us a lot of money. Arguably, the consumption of the plane is quite high, but we should make that back no problem at all. One thing to note is the plane is only on 85% of conditioning, so we're going to need to go ahead and work on that and probably improve that up to closer to 100% when we get a bit more money. Anyway, so that should have been our first flight going out today, and as we can see, it's going to make 560,000 and it is full on second class and first class. Or, yeah, it is, which is perfect. So, I mean, that's so exciting. I can't wait. And as you can see, the ticket prices are so high, so this should be an absolute beauty. So what I'm actually going to do is just skip forward 2 days. What we're going to start to see now is our bank account increase dramatically. So right now we're on 14.1 million. Now, if we go into the next day, we're all the way up to, yeah, Jesus, 16.5 million, 16.6 million really. So we made about 2.4, 2.5 million, whereas in the last episode, typically day by day, we're only making about 1.2 to 1.4 million. I do say only, it is a very good amount of money to make. However, now we're making near enough double that. It is really exciting. So let me just go ahead and add in a few more of these, and then let's go ahead and see what effect this has on the gates, because that is something which does worry me going forwards. Let's have a look and actually see what the issue is with the gates. So if we look with gates, as we can see, there's just one or two wee hot spots, but there's also some very quiet periods which have got no planes on the move. So as we can see, it is very hit and miss. Today, just about in between 1 and 3 o'clock, we're using all 4 gates at once. But outside of that, there's no real need for a new gate until we, I guess, really start our new routes. We have 4 gates, and I think we can really probably go ahead and maximise our use of those gates for the time being. As we can see here, there's a lot of flying going on in the airport, which is good. Not just by myself, which is interesting though, but we also have routes from, well, I don't know if they're routes of their orders. That's the one thing I'm not at all sure about, if they're blue flights or if they're green flights. But as we can see, Falcon Lines has got 2 planes, and we can't see anything really past 3 o'clock just because there's so many planes flying today. Well, with that said, what I want to check now, we've got, I guess we've had, what, 2 days, 3 days of the Sydney route flying, is I want to check our route capacity on that and see what we need to do. So it's only at 21% right now. Obviously, we've only gone for a few days, so we'll need to go ahead and monitor that and see how we go forward. What we are going to do on Friday though is I'm going to run down to the mechanic and basically get him to repair that plane up to 100% just so it's pristine for flying. We did make a lot more money overnight there actually. We probably made about 3 million that night, which is nice to see. Anyways, let's jump back outside. Are you still on? Yes, you're up to 34, and that's probably just going to continue. So let's go ahead and let's run down to the maintenance hangar. I just want to also check what flights we've got on the move right now. So we've got one flying to Mail at 10 o'clock, and then I'm not really at all sure from there. So we will now return into the air hangar for maintenance. We'll upgrade, I think we're just going to upgrade all our remaining planes to 100% because in this episode I feel we're going to do some more expansion. So please repair my planes as follows, and let's do all planes to 100%. That's going to cost me 7 and 8 is 15 and 3 plus carry some extra. So we're looking at about 19-20 million there, which is fine. Not that that will come out my bank all at once overnight. However, it is, I just need to make sure I don't get I guess, go bankrupt, because that is a problem which I have run into in my own playthrough in the past. Doing too much at once, it is often a good idea, however it can be quite a risky idea. I realise we have run up top there, I actually don't want to. I want to go into the advertising agency, because we've not done any advertising in a while. As we can see, today's a little bit different. It's a little bit more spaced out on the arrivals anyway. There's a flight from Vienna to Singapore, which is it's quite a unique route. I've not really seen that one. I'm guessing it's just something out of the air travel here, because that's not a route on the board which you can go ahead and take. It's just an order. However, I can imagine that would be quite a long journey and a lot of money would be made on that. Though again, I'm not really at all sure her game. 20 planes. She has drastically actually gone, well, not too much actually, I guess, because I've gone up quite a lot since I've looked at this passenger boards. We're also at day 145. I mean, in the last episode I ticked over to 200,000 passengers, so it just shows now how fast I am going. I would also say though that I'm skipping forward days much quicker, which is also important to note. Okay, so is it 11 o'clock? It is 11 o'clock, though you guys don't open till 12 o'clock. It's the museum that doesn't open till 11 o'clock. So what we'll do is we'll speed through this, just see how the airport itself's not actually too busy. But I guess it probably doesn't really, it's not that realistic. It's not like Sim Airport, for example, where things are more planes, more passengers. It probably doesn't quite work like that. Anyway, I'd like to improve the image of one of my routes. Let's go ahead and see how things are doing. So in the last episode, we went ahead and advertised our Singapore to mail, which is at 100%. All three of them are at 100%, and you're at 5%. So what we'll do is we'll just go for a gigantic campaign. That will automatically, I believe, now get it to 100%, based on me only advertising the Singapore to mail route once. And that really allows the route to profit even more, which is great. So as I was looking, that's at 34%, so we're probably going to need to introduce a second plane onto that route, which is not a problem at all, just because it is the highest current and daily requirement with regards to passengers that I've ever had. Let's go ahead and have a look and see how it's doing. Again, it's full, and it was full on the overnight flight, and it's just going to be consistently full. That's what I can just tell from this. So I'm going to need to introduce another plane, aren't I? Again, we'll skip forward to Monday. We've also gone down in our capital quite a bit, so I can't really introduce a new plane yet, because I would need to upgrade the inside and the outside, and that's going to cost me about 20 million, so we need to get back up to that stage. I'll also go ahead and check on the updated route capacity as well and see if that has changed, and also see if the advertising has had some effect as well, because that will hopefully go ahead and increase the demand for first class anyway, which should be good. Quite a bit of sabotage going on between Sunshine and Falcon, but there always sort of is, so we can go ahead and ignore that. I do apologise, I had one or two wee hiccups there. So as we can see, it's up to 49%, which is really good, but I could do with just one smaller plane jumping on there and helping out. So let's go ahead and start to think about that. Let's go ahead and jump into here and identify which plane out of the remaining two we have. So the Jera, it is 180 by 30, and we've got the Sela, 217 by 36. I think we'll go for this one, and this will become the Sydney 2, which is perfect. So let's go ahead and see what maintenance works we can carry out on you. Sydney 2, as we can see here, that's going to cost me a whopping 16 million, so we'll go ahead and do that. Overnight we will lose all that money, but we should gain that money back, and we have quite easily actually, which is really good. So let's go ahead and call it a day again, and we'll start flying the Sydney 2 from Saturday, because I still need to upgrade the inside of the plane, I believe, if I'm right in saying, which is perfect, yes. So that's not going to cost too much, 3 million. Jump you forward into Saturday, and we can start flying this evening on the Sydney 2. The problem now might be gates, because I might just have those few too many planes flying at the one time. Use of gates, there's still so many gaps though, particularly around midday, or maybe about what, 9 o'clock? Let's start flying for 9 o'clock and really go from there. That's probably the best bet. So, Singapore to Sydney, we're actually going to have to start flying you tomorrow. So let's put you in for 9 o'clock, and that is fine from there. Then let's go ahead and stick you in there, and let's just keep that wrapping around. So that's fine, we're not having to introduce a new gate yet, which is good. And then can we continuously do that? We'll need to come back in a few days and update that schedule, but it looks like everything's okay from that point of view. Brochures, yeah, again, so some more sabotage for brochures, but that's really just not that bad a kind of sabotage, to be honest. We had that quite a bit in the last episode. That's the notification there that the sabotage has hit our planes, but our image is just so large now that it really doesn't have much effect. Right, so we'll jump forward into Monday now, and we'll start to see how this second Sydney plane is doing. So if we look in here, as we can see, you 217/36? Yeah, you are. So as we can see, you are full and full. You're not making as much, but obviously you're smaller, but you're still making 340,000 per flight. And then the main plane is still making just short of 600,000 per flight. So it is gonna be our big money maker. Let me go ahead and now fill out the rest of the schedule. Let's remove you. Or let's not do that, actually, because that was perfect with regards to gates. So Sydney at 9 o'clock on the Sunday, and put you in, though you've got no free gate, so this could be interesting. We'll actually go ahead and stack you up like this and really just go from here, because it's all dependent obviously on other planes as well. So that looks fine, and that looks fine. So it looks like we're good through till Sunday, so I'm happy about that. Can we put another one in there? Yes, we can, and we're free from any gate issues for the time being. I'm still quite paranoid about it, mind you. However, it looks like we're okay. Looks like Monday's just a bad day, but outside of that, the only other time 4 gates are used are on Friday evening and 1 hour on Sunday. So again, it's not too big an issue, all in all. Tuesday seems really empty at the airport, actually. It's really strange. Whereas all the other days seem quite consistent. Though, I don't know. We are going to have to go ahead and probably, the next time we introduce a plane, we will need to go ahead and buy a new gate. I do want to hopefully go ahead and expand onto the Manila route this episode as well, but that is just dependent on money. Okay, so let me jump outside with the second plane. What's our usage capacity? Is only at 66%. Even with the second plane now. Arguably the second plane's probably still just starting up and taking effect. However, we might need to introduce the third plane onto that actually. And I can understand why, because it is a longer flight. If we have a look here, the flight time is, that leaves at what, 7, and it arrives at 4. So that's a 9-hour flight, so I guess it does take quite a while. I'm assuming both planes have the same speed, so it takes the same time, so yeah, it does. Or no, sorry, that's 9 hours, what am I talking about, 7 hours, so it takes 9 hours all in all, which makes sense. So yeah, maybe I just need to up that frequency a little bit. We'll continue to monitor it. We do have another plane pretty much good to go, which is fine, but that means then that the Manila expansion will probably take that little bit longer. Right, this will be important. Coffee, sunshine, okay. I'm afraid I have unpleasant news for you. The bank has filed bankruptcy application against Sunshine Airways. That's the end. Good luck. That's unfortunate because she might have sold all her shares and I didn't notice, so that's a bit disappointing. But that does mean there's now only 2 airlines in the game, so if we jump forward into Thursday, as we can see, it's just us and Falcon lines, and that's going to be an interesting one for sure. So let me go ahead and have a think about this. I want to check first of all how much money we're making per night. So we're at 30.1 million. We now go all the way up to 33.7. So that's 3.6 million we're making there, which is absolutely crazy. So we're definitely dominating the skies, which is nice. Let me go ahead and now exit and let's go into the bank and really see what's going on down there, and then we'll need to check capacity usage. And oh, there's a new gate which is going to be, I don't actually have to pay the 1 million for that, which is good. How are you doing? Okay, you're at 70%. What I want to do is I want to buy some more of my shares and also buy some of Falcon Line shares to start putting pressure on Falcon Lines and then hit them with repeated sabotage over and over again. The thing is, now we're making so much money as well, I can up my security and things from now on generally will just get better and better. So as I said, let's check the capacity usage. We're at 77%, so am I going to need to employ a third plane? I don't really think I will. Or will I? I'm not at all sure. We'll have to keep going with it, but I do want to get this started up to the Manila, Singapore. So we'll see how things go. Someone's in the room right now. Don't tell me you've taken gate 6. Right, no, I've got gate 6, which is good. So that allows me to go ahead now and have an extra gate. So that means we will have 5 gates all in all. Falcon Line still has 1. But that means then, as I said, when we expand into the Manila route, we will not have to worry about gate clashes, hopefully. So let me go ahead and wait on Falcon Lines getting out the security office. Obviously, if we're making 3.6 mil per night now, we can go ahead and spend all the money we want on security, which is fine. So let me go ahead and do that. As you can see, that's going to cost me 1 million now, which is a lot. However, it will be hopefully worth it in the long run. It's really difficult to measure something like security. Is it worth it? Is it not? I'm not really at all sure, to be honest. But it means that at least we can't be affected by sabotage anymore, which is good. Right, okay, so let's go ahead now and see what we can do. So there's one plane which hasn't been fully equipped yet, and that's the Gera, so we should probably spend some money on that. Then let's go ahead and kit you out. Let's change you to an 8:2 ratio. And that's going to cost me 20 million, which I understand. So that's already come out my bank account. But as I said, we're already making like 2.5 million a day, which is nice. I also want to very quickly check, what is the ratios on the Sydney 1 and Sydney 2 for first and second class? Because I can probably get some more first class people on some of these planes. Let me have a look here. So the Gera, Mail, Sydney 1, Sydney 2. You can actually be upgraded, the Sydney 2 there, which is nice. We're also going to go ahead and Sydney 1. Yeah, so you're both 8:2 ratios. So what I'm going to do on the Sydney 2 is change you to a 7:3 ratio, just so we can go ahead and get that little bit more money. So right now on the Sydney 2, when the plane is full, it's making me 343,000 per flight. We jump forward to tomorrow. Let's go ahead and check out and see if there should be an increase. There's less seats, but the newer seats cost more. So interestingly, no. Or interestingly, it's pretty much the same. It's really not made any change at all. But I guess that's to do with, I think for every first class seat there is, it takes out 2 second class seats, and because they're the same price, it's really not making any difference at all. So anyway, I'm happy with what it is right now. That's fine, that's not a problem. The big question is though, 78%, so I'm going to have a third plane on there, which is not a problem. We've got a third plane ready to go, which is going to be the Gera. So let's go ahead and call you the Sydney 3. Now, one thing to note here is that I'm probably going to quite easily hit this 100% with this third plane. So what I might want to do is actually fly, for example, maybe some Manila flights on this as well, or I can make this a hybrid plane quite easily. So let's go ahead and start off Sydney to Singapore on the Tuesday morning, and then can we just go ahead and duplicate that down, like so, which is perfect. So now with an extra plane flying this route, we're on 14.5 million, and we now go all the way up to 17 million, 17.1 million, so we're making 2.6 million there, which is perfect. We're really making 3.67 million, but we are obviously paying that 1 million for security per day now, which is important. Right, so let's get forward to, I don't know, say Friday, and that will allow us for a little bit more money. because we're now actually going to need to start buying planes. It's a weird phenomenon. I've not actually really done this series too much. I inherited a lot of planes, but I've only bought maybe about 5 planes all in all. But we are going to have to start to look to what planes we're going to use for this Manila route going forward. So now we're into Friday. What I want to do is I want to start hitting the other Falcon line airline with some sabotage. That's one of the first things, and also start putting pressure on in the bank. Why, for some reason, is Honey Airlines still in here? I mean, that's under me now, so I wouldn't want to do that. Oh, I guess so is Sunshine, so they've obviously not been taken away. Anyway, let's go ahead and something special for my opponents. Place brochures in the aircraft. Falcon Lines are accompanied by Sky Marshals, so okay, he's got security there. What about something with the planes? Heavily salted food on board. Forget it, inside the planes is monitored. Can I do any sabotage to Falcon Lines? What about personally? Right, he's got security all round, so I can't even hit him with sabotage, which is frustrating. So we'll have to hit him in the bank then, which is easy enough to do. Let's just go ahead and start buying up some of his shares. So let's go ahead and start putting some pressure on Falcon Lines. I mean, yeah, okay, I never realised how much shares you'd actually produced. Right, so there's another way to hit this airline, which is fine, and we can go ahead and do that quite easily. We need to go ahead and work out, first of all, what routes they have, because they do have a route. So what we want to do is fly their same route, then we just want to continuously undercut them, which is important, and then basically get them to fold on that route, and then from there we can go ahead and start to, I guess, just cause them a lot of pressure, a lot of problems, and then that'll affect them financially, and then things should just unravel from there, which would be interesting. We can possibly do that, but what route does he fly? That's the question. So what routes do I fly? It's the Sydney to Singapore. That's it straight away, because they've already got an unknown tenants there, and there's no tenants. Oh no, it's no. This is not good. So there's only one airline left in the game, which is Falcon Lines, right? Now, it says here I've got 8 routes, but basically I've got 4 routes plus the return flights, which equals 8. That means that Falcon Lines has 1 route with the return making 2. So from this board, if I go into my routes, I can tell, okay, say the Singapore to Bangkok, I'm the only tenant on that route. However, with the Singapore to Perth, there's an unknown tenant, but also on the Singapore to Sydney, there's an unknown tenant. So one of these, or these routes could be possible one of the Falcon Lines routes, but it could also be the other airlines as well, because it's obviously not removed that, because there's an extra route on here which shouldn't be on here, so that's a bit of an issue. However, we can go ahead and still drop the prices on those routes, and it should still have some effect, which should be nice. Right, let's go ahead and fill up this Monday on the Sydney 3. Just do a back-to-back like so, and that works out nicely. Right, okay, so with that done, what is the actual route capacity? I didn't actually check there. So that should be now at 99%, and it will be at 100% tomorrow, which is good. Okay, so what's the plan now? That's a very good question. We're at the stage now where we're really just needing to save up lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money to go ahead and start to affect Falcon Lines in the share department, and also I want to start undercutting Falcon Lines in the routes departments. So for this, let's go ahead and start to hire some advisors, because they'll be able to do something. So we've got a personal advisor, that's good. I think you help out with 22, yeah, so this is very much employment. So you've got 22 pilots without planes, that's way too many. We've got an order analyst. I'm not taking orders anymore, I'm only taking... I could take some orders, to be fair, to make things interesting. So we'll maybe do that actually. We'll go ahead and take you on. We've got an informer, so this is what I want. So salary is okay. I do want an informer though, because this person would be able to tell me what's really going on with Falcon Lines. We've got a fitness trainer. I mean, does that help me personally or my staff? I'll hire you anyway though. And then we've got, you already have a better qualified advisor. So I don't know what the fitness trainer will do, if that'll help my staff out. I'm not really at all sure on that one. But this is the only informer, so I'll go ahead and take you on as well, which is good. Right, okay, so show me the files with my pilots, because let's go ahead and start to remove some staff, because I don't need a lot of them. So this is where I need my, I guess, advisor to help me out here. So, who do I want to fire? Someone who's average, probably. 21 pilots left, Jesus Christ. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of the people who are just got mediocre statements. So, moderately talented, that's not great. I'm not going to fire 20 pilots because I'm going to continue to, I guess, increase my pilot numbers. I don't want to get rid of lots and then have to rehire them in the next 2 episodes. And I know we are going to be expanding quite quickly, quite shortly, just as the momentum gathers. So we can fire you. I will fire a handful of people though, just to go ahead and try and make the pool just that little bit smaller. Though there's not many people who have actually got bad education levels. Talented, above average, you can disappear. Average, you can disappear. Talented's fine, gifted is fine, very highly gifted is fine, and talented is fine. So that's me got rid of a few there. Then let's go ahead and very quickly do the same now, but with flight attendants. We must have a lot of flight attendants, yeah, so you are very talented, very highly gifted. Moderately talented, you can disappear. Gifted is good, these are good. A real genius is good. These are fine, above average. If it's got the word average in it, you're getting fired. That's just unfortunate. Very highly gifted, another average here. God, there's a lot to go through here. 62, geez, oh. It needs to be done though, it really does need to be done. This will allow us to save just that little bit more money. It's not going to be too much to be fair, but it'll maybe save us 100,000 every day or two, which will be nice. Get rid of you as an average. Oh no, we already fired you. Get rid, we've fired you. Gifted is fine, get rid of you. Then, yeah, this must be good fun, eh? Moderately talented, we can get rid of you. So we only need to fire 17 more actually, which is good. We are getting down there into the lower figures. Quite a lot of good staff all of a sudden. So that's us now at 40, so we're 2/3 of the way there. Talented, gifted, very talented, gifted. A lot of these people I did, I guess, inherit from Honey Airlines, so I've not really actually had a look at this at all. This is the first time me doing it here, so gifted, moderately talented. Get rid of you, probably. Gifted, gifted, above average, we can get rid of you. And that is us just about done, ladies and gentlemen. Above average. And I think that's us sorted. So, we're down to only 11 flight attendants now without planes, which is good. I could actually go ahead and, I guess, overflight attendants if I wanted to. I could add extras in here. Though I'm not going to. Let me go ahead and... the retrofitting. Yeah, what are these M's? I'm quite curious what these M's are. What are these M's? Because, so it's restore, saved, and save current equipment. Right, yeah, okay. Oh, so it's just a way of saving. Because I've never hit those buttons before. I'd always either hit the OK or to go to the next plane, or the inside or the outside of the plane. The technical equipment and the... what is this other side here? The comfort features, so... I'm not at all sure. I might have gone ahead and done something wrong there. Yeah, I just gained 10 million instantly there, so I think I might have downgraded a plane by accident. Yeah, I have gone ahead and done that, which isn't good. So let's go ahead and upgrade you for 18 million. Which is fine. So I've probably just gone ahead and lost myself some money there, but hey ho. Alright, the big question is how much are we making per night now? So 28 million, 28.5 million we're on right now. And that brings us up now to 32.3 million. So we are making, wowie, just about 4 million there, which is crazy. Just short of that, which is nice. Right, okay, so let's jump ship now, and let's start to go ahead and try and price out... okay, so it does now tell me Honey Airlines 0, which is good. Honey Airlines is no longer in the game. And now no longer there's another tenant on the Sydney to Singapore, which is interesting. What does this mean? We do not know. Are you still you've got rid of that route? Interesting. So you're now no longer flying that route. So that should affect your finances, I'm hoping. I mean, in your account you have got a lot of money, and I mean, don't get me wrong, your shares issued are still worth a lot of money. Your shares are worth more than mine right now, which actually gives me an idea. If my shares are only at $77, I'm going to go ahead and pretty much just buy a lot of my shares up, just because I still only own 75% of my airline, so we might as well just go ahead and increase that. I like to execute, or no, I like to buy my own. How much is my own going to cost? So I can buy my remaining 25% nice and easy there, and that allows me to go ahead and take full control of my airline once more. And as we can see there, the market value is at 69 million, whereas his market value is at 374 million. So they do have so much more assets than us, though, with regards to planes. Though I'm not really at all sure what he's doing with those planes, but that's not really me. It's not for me to decide. Right, so all in all, things are good. Things are very, very good. What do we do now? Well, we start looking forward, as I've said now, to the Manila route, which, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a very quick look on the board, and then we'll start that in the next episode. So, as we can see, the distance is incredibly short, which is good. It's only 2,500 kilometers. It also doesn't have that high daily current requirement, so it means that we can go ahead and probably... I mean, I don't really know. We could possibly get away with one massive plane, actually. That's maybe a good option to go for, or two smaller planes. So we'd have to think about that. But all in all, that is where we're going to go to next episode, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like, rate, and subscribe if you are new around here. Go down into that comment section below. Leave me some feedback on what I can integrate into these final few episodes. With regards to how many episodes there is going to be, right now I'm not at all sure. I think there may be about maybe 4 or 5 more episodes as we continue to expand and put pressure on. But if I see the game going nowhere else, then I will call it quits there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.